driving through Albuquerque right now, and there was a billboard to the left-hand side of the road, and I was unable to video it because I didn't see it in time, but evidently Albuquerque has a baseball team, and their name is the Isotopes. The Isotopes. Yeah, brought a smile to my face. It has a scientific meaning. If you don't know what it means, you can always Google it. It has something to do with atoms. Yeah, if there's ever a reason to move to Albuquerque, that might be the reason. Isotopes. Baseball team. So we stopped to go to the restroom and found this broken earlier when we got gas, but then we also had another thing that popped off down here, the stabilizer, so just delaying our trip a little bit. After many hours on the road, we decided to take a stop when we saw the sign for the Petrified Forest National Park. It's located in northeastern Arizona in Navajo and Apache counties. Stopping in at the Visitor Center, we learn a little bit about the history of the park and how these ancient trees once lived in this isolated desert and now have become petrified. Painted Forest National Park was recognized and protected as a national treasure by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1906, when it became the country's second national monument. The Painted Desert was added in 1932. The wood we're looking at here. And this wood is like ancient trees that have fallen over and they've been submerged under swampland. And so the swamps basically, as the minerals and stuff in the swamp, all the silt started to engulf the trees and become the tree basically. As the wood decayed away, it just left the minerals behind. And so these are gigantic trees. In fact, this tree behind me, we're looking at the bottom side. So this is the trunk when it laid over, and this would be where all the roots were in the ground. So we're looking at, a diameter of a tree that's much, much taller than I am. And if you notice, it goes all the way down. We'll take some footage of that and let you see that as well. I became a science teacher because I've always been fascinated by nature and the connections between living and non-living factors that sustain the world we live in. Geology is one of those areas of science that attempt to explain the Earth's past through cycles we see occurring around us today. By examining these cycles and taking into account the time it takes for certain processes to occur, scientists have come to estimate that these ancient remains of trees, some of which towered near 200 feet in height, are the survivors of an ancient log jam that occurred thousands of years ago in what was once a prehistoric swamp.
Having the oxygen supply suddenly cut off by sediment, the trees fell to decay and became saturated by dissolved minerals and water. These minerals crystallized and took the form of the very trees that supported their formation. The sediment that once buried them has long eroded away, leaving behind these magnificent remains weighing hundreds of thousands of pounds. The Petrified Forest has one of the largest concentrations of petrified wood in the world, with areas in North Dakota, Argentina, and Egypt being its nearest rivals. It is illegal to collect or harvest these ancient mineral samples from the protected area within the park. However, the remains of these trees continue for hundreds of miles surrounding the park area that is located on state land, private property, and the Navajo Nation. The wood samples being sold within the park gift store and regional gift shops in the area have been collected on private property by the owners themselves or those who have been given permission in these non-protected areas. Spending a couple hours sightseeing through the Painted Desert and Petrified Forest, we are once again on the road heading through the very mountainous area of Flagstaff, Arizona.
We're outside Flagstaff, refueling again, and man, the price of diesel, $4.19 a gallon. I don't think I'm going to fill up here. I'm just going to get enough to get me down the road a little bit, but yeah, that's pretty steep. Yeah, $50 is going to do it for me right now.
We finally arrive at our campground in Tucson, Arizona, just 1 mile from the south entrance of Grand Canyon National Park. I take just a moment to add the Arizona sticker to our travel map on the back of my camper. We'll be heading out in the morning to visit the Grand Canyon, and then we are back on the road continuing our trip to the City of Lights, Las Vegas, Nevada.
So we stayed overnight here in Tuscany, and temperatures got really cold last night, so not expecting real cold temperatures in Arizona in the end of June, but it was what it was. So yeah, we had to turn the heater on last night. But we're getting hooked up. We're about to hit the Grand Canyon here in just a little bit, and we'll take a few shots and videos there and talk a little bit about the geology of the canyon.
Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to visit the Grand Canyon National Park. So this is one of those unique moments in time when I get to mark off something from my bucket list. The only downside is we've only got a couple hours to spend here before we have to get back on the road again to go to Las Vegas. So we take just a moment to go to the visitor center. Visiting with a few of the park rangers, I get a good idea of how to best utilize our time while we're here to make the most of it. I can't wait to get out and take a look at the canyon for the very first time.
Okay, well, one thing that you might want to do then is if you go out the door and you turn left.
Exiting the visitor center to head out to the rim of the canyon, I notice a water bottle refilling station. This is just one of many throughout the national park, encouraging conservation within our culture, bringing about an awareness of the pollution caused by the constant disposal of reusable water bottles. The water available at these stations comes from the roaring springs below the north rim of the canyon itself.
It looks fake. Wow. So it's amazing, just breathtaking. And I've seen Powder Canyon a million times and thought it'd be really similar. There's no comparison. It's when you walk up on it, the view is just outstanding, and it's almost like you're standing in front of a big, painting or something. It's hard to believe it's real, but definitely one of the things you want to check out if you're ever in the area of Arizona and want to check out the Grand Canyon. Definitely worth a stop. There is a ledge right there, but I would have to hold on to it on my way back. So.
That'd be the best YOLO ever.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is the Grand Canyon behind me, obviously. I'm shooting on a wide angle, and so you guys can kind of see what's going on. Kind of out here on the ledge a little bit, no railing, so it's kind of nervous and nerve-wracking. But,
Science continues to build on the theories and discoveries of those in the past. New technologies and knowledge helps us to refine our understanding. Do we know for certain every detail and aspect about the formation of the Grand Canyon and the people who once lived in this area? Of course not, but we do have better knowledge. As time passes, there will be future scientists with even newer technologies and even more evidence, unlocking some of these final mysteries. They even may come to find out that some of the things we are so certain about today are actually incorrect.
Not on the window? Okay, so this was our trip at the canyon. It was a good day, and if I had to do this over again, I'd make sure I had at least 3 or 4 days and do some hiking and some exploring in the canyon. Lots of fossils in this area, lots of paleontology, A lot of Indian artifacts and things that have been found out of the canyon. So a lot of history here. If you're not into science, just coming for the view alone is worth your trip. So there's camping in the park, and so make reservations way ahead of time and plan on staying a few days. So next time we come, that's definitely on our agenda, is to stay a few days, do some hiking and a little exploring here in the park. So our next stop is Vegas. We are 166 miles away, so that's where we're traveling now. And so we'll get some things about Vegas while we're there.
With 3 hours to go before we arrive in Las Vegas, I take time to reflect on the great things we have already seen along the way. The Painted Desert, the Petrified Forest, and the Grand Canyon. All of which are magnificent examples of the geological cycles that began before and during the time of dinosaurs. Stopping to fill up once again, I begin to realize that we have not eaten today. Once we get set up at our campsite, we will begin to search out a place to eat. I am scheduled to be in Las Vegas for 10 days. During this time, I will be focusing on scientific aspects in the area, as well as sharing some of the unique attractions and sites that make Las Vegas one of the world's most visited cities. Completing our final setup, we take just a moment to freshen up. Before heading out, I take a moment to put the Nevada sticker on the back of our camper on our travel map. Now we're ready to go exploring and find a place to eat. We love to hit up restaurants featured on Man vs. Food, and Hash House A Go-Go happen to be in the area. I decided to order the Sage Fried Chicken Benedict, the very one that Adam Richman ate in May of 2009 on the show. This could truly be love at first sight. You know what they say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This will be one of those memories I shall not soon forget. Wow.
Okay? That's delicious.
One of the shows I enjoy watching once in a while on the History Channel is Pawn Stars. And it's filmed in Vegas, so hey, we wanted to check it out. While we were inside, I was really hoping to get a glimpse of the old man, Rick, Corey, or even Chumley, but come to find out they're usually only available during filming days. It was pretty cool checking out some of the merchandise because many of the items were things I'd actually seen on the show. It's not only fun to watch, it's also educational. They're always bringing in experts to authenticate the things that are brought in and to tell a little bit about the history behind the items. The name Las Vegas was derived from the Spanish word for the meadows. This area was originally home to the Navajo tribe and other Native Americans. The city itself was established in 1905. In 1931, two major things made Vegas a target for tourism. Construction of the Hoover Dam brought thousands of workers to the city, and casino gambling was legalized. For many years, the city struggled as a small commuter town. That is, until Bugsy Siegel, a mobster from New York, opened the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in 1946. Today, Las Vegas has more hotel rooms than any other resort city in the world. Las Vegas is one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S., with 4,000 to 8,000 people moving here each month. Gambling and tourism are the two major employers, with 35 million people visiting annually. The city is a mecca for famous singers, celebrities, comedians, and magicians performing nightly. Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, Tom Jones, and Dean Martin have left a permanent mark on Las Vegas's past, with current celebrities such as Celine Dion, Elton John, Brad Garrett, and One Direction, as well as many others continuing to draw in the crowds nightly. Las Vegas is like no other place on earth. It is big on entertainment, big on attractions, and big on excess. It doesn't take but a millisecond once you're here on the Strip to find out what draws in so many people annually. After spending a few days in Las Vegas, we get back on the road to take a day trip just 35 miles away to tour the Hoover Dam, just outside of Boulder, Nevada. As we travel through the rocky desert, it becomes obvious we are nearing our destination by the increasing number of electrical towers and power lines. The construction of the Hoover Dam tamed the mighty Colorado River, whose sheer force and power created the Grand Canyon itself. Unpredictable yearly snowmelt from the Rocky Mountains continue to plague area farmers and residents, where prior canals intended to manage the water flow failed, leaving disaster in its path. In the 1920s, discussion began within the government to find a location in the path of the Colorado River to build a dam that would not only tame the flooding, but also provide water to drought-stricken areas within the United States and supply hydroelectric power for neighboring cities and states. After much debate in Congress, President Hoover signed the federally funded project. Construction began in March of 1931 and was completed just 5 years later in 1935. The original name of the dam was the Boulder Dam. On September 30th, 1935, during the dedication ceremony, President Franklin D. Roosevelt established the dam as a national landmark and renamed it to the Hoover Dam in honor of his predecessor, President Herbert Hoover, our nation's 31st president, who signed the legislation to fund the building project. Okay, today we're at the Hoover Dam, which is a hydroelectric power dam, so we're going to look a little bit at the internal workings, and so we had to buy a pass. And so we're going to go on the dam tour in just a moment.
Some of you heard this beep right over here. That means that we're at a halfway part of our journey. Smooth ride, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like we're traveling 25 miles an hour down the canyon, does it? Good, because we're only supposed to be going 6. Now,
Elevators took us down 537 feet through volcanic rock.
speaking of cameras, I assume other people brought cameras, correct?
Yeah.
Did Alan tell you what the camera policy is down here since 9/11?
No.
Great, because we don't have a policy. So take as many damn photographs as you like.
Once off the elevator, our guide took us through an access tunnel.
We just came through the dam tunnel.
We found ourselves inside the Inner Nevada Diversion Tunnel.
As we came out of the elevator, we walked down the ramp, and we are now standing here inside the Inner Nevada Diversion Tunnel.
Before the dam could be built, the engineers had to create a dry spot in the canyon where the Colorado River was flowing. Hydrologists and geologists estimated it would take 4 diversion tunnels cut through the canyon to handle the Colorado River. 2 50-foot diameter tunnels were cut out of the Arizona side, and 2 were cut out of the Nevada side of the canyon with an average length of 3/4 of a mile. Once the rock was mined out of the tunnels, they placed the rocks in the path of the river, making a temporary coffer dam to back the water up and divert it through the newly developed tunnels around the job site, permitting the work to continue on the dam. An additional smaller coffer dam was built downstream to prevent any backing up of the water to keep from flooding the job site. This water was also used to cool the temperature of the massive amount of curing concrete put in place during the ongoing construction. Once construction was completed, the diversion tunnels were sealed one by one with boilerplate bulkhead doors. The water in the tunnels was pumped out, and sections were plugged with 400 feet of concrete to keep the lake from traveling through the diverted tunnels. Once this happened, the water began to back up over the temporary coffer dam, spilling over it, and for 6.5 years, the water continued to back up behind the dam, creating Lake Mead. The lower coffer dam below the Colorado River had to be dynamited away to permit portion of the diversion tunnels below the dam to be fitted with penstocks to take the water from the dam and direct it to the turbines underneath the generators. As water passes the blades of the turbines, they turn the generators, producing electricity. The water is re-released, forming the Colorado River on the other side of the dam, moving toward Mexico.
So our dam guy just told us all about the dam. So one of the things I'm picking up on right now is there's a lot of dam tunnels for the dam. A lot of dam people too. Man, it was cool back there, but right now it's damn hot.
Now down here is now another reason they put these air vents here is they wanted an avenue to bring the air into the dam to help dry out this 6 million tons of concrete. So it's serving those two purposes. I'm going to send you down there, take those photos, come on back. Watch your head, no bumps and bruises, please. And this is a circle, so it does tend to be a little slippery, so please watch your step.
We're about to go down the damn vent.
It's a hole.
Oh, it's a damn air vent.
A damn hole.
Okay, so if you get a chance to do the Hoover Dam tour, get ready to do a lot of dam walking. This isn't rock, it's actually tile. Looks like it has brick and everything else around it, so we're actually in a different dam tunnel.
I see what you're saying.
We're getting on another damn elevator.
That's why we limited the 20 right here.
Thank you.
Upon completing our tour of the internal structure and workings of the dam, we take a moment to walk across the top side. The view of Black Canyon, the Michael Callahan Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge, and the sheer magnificence of the engineering is truly captivating. The dam spans a width of 660 feet and has a structural height of 726 feet, composed of 4.4 million cubic feet of concrete. Lake Mead is the largest reservoir in the United States. At the time of the dam's construction, it held a record for the largest man-made structure in the world, producing the most hydroelectric power at its time. With 17 main turbine generators and 2 water wheel station service units with an electrical capacity of 2,079 megawatts. Thousands of men who lost their jobs to the Great Depression found training and employment with an ongoing 5-year construction project.
The Colorado River and the Vine District.
The project did not come without its fair share of risks. With over 21,000 men working over the span of its construction, it is estimated that 107 of them lost their lives while building the dam. The Hoover Dam draws some 7 million tourists a year, along with over 10 million visitors to Lake Mead.
It is 8:43 at night. It is 105 degrees at 8:30 at night. It's like a desert out here.
As the sun sets in Las Vegas, it only gets busier, but it doesn't mean that it gets any cooler. Las Vegas sits in one of America's largest deserts, the Mojave Desert. Temperatures in the summer months average 102 degrees with average yearly rainfall of a mere 4.16 inches. At night, Las Vegas truly comes alive with all the glitter and glim. The neon lights and late-night entertainment and gambling sets the stage for the illusion that this great city has to offer. The idea that riches are to be won in this place. But the truth is, the house, also known as the casino, will always have the advantage. Simply look around at the lavish hotels and sites, and the truth is revealed. The only way to keep this city alive is at the expense of those who come trying to beat the odds.
Okay, so we're at Fremont Street, which is the older part of Las Vegas. It's a pretty big strip. It's all the older casinos and stuff. They've got a zip line that actually goes underneath the large light show that's above us. And so we're going to take that. I'm going to be wearing my GoPro and we're going to shoot that as I go down the zip line. So it should be pretty entertaining. So we'll see how it goes.
The facts are well known. Those who come to Vegas come with the intent of spending money. Although I'm not a gambler, I am fond of thrill rides. Strapping into our harnesses, my daughter and I prepare to zip line beneath the famous light show that sets Fremont casinos apart from the main strip.
Are we out of here?
Yes,
TK?
out the door, man.
All right, take care, man.
Taking to the air, gravity does its work as it accelerates the two of us above the crowds below. It's easy to get lost in the energy that is Las Vegas, where excess reigns and would-be fortune hunters attempt to turn the odds in their favor. The cost for the two of us to experience this 25-second sensation was about $60. That comes to $2.40 per second. So here we are, non-gamblers in Las Vegas, still gladly paying the high price to experience something new. And just like that, the adventure of ziplining comes to an end. Getting my picture and taking a moment to look around only seems to annoy the zipline photographer. After all, this is Vegas. They have my money, and now it's time to move on. And so, now, I'm on my way. The next morning, the sun rises once again, and with it, so does the temperature.
Man, it's like a desert out here.
We take a moment to head to Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino to check out their world-famous aquarium. Wandering through the exhibits, we are greeted with an abundance of sea life, ranging from tiger and blackfin sharks, a variety of jellyfish, stingrays, and lionfish, to name a few. thought that you could find yourself in the middle of an arid desert in the southern tip of Nevada, hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean, looking at such a magnificent variety of sea life? For you aspiring marine biologists, this just might be a place of interest for future employment.
Out here.
One attraction we did not want to miss was checking out the Mob Museum. This city was built on organized crime, murder, and illicit activity. Entering the museum, we had the opportunity to stand behind glass and get our pictures taken. Not the kind you send to grandma, but the kind you might see on a rap sheet. This was a fun way to truly immerse yourself in the history of crime that surrounds the very city of Las Vegas. The fact is, just because a mobster was arrested doesn't mean that their influence or power diminishes. Simply watch movies like Flamingo, Bugsy, or Goodfellas, and you will begin to see a glimpse of the power, riches, and death that generally followed in this underground world. The overall experience of the museum was truly fascinating and rich in history. I didn't feel that shooting video would truly be all that captivating, but through a few simple photographs you can begin to see that it all started with the calming of the Colorado River with the Hoover Dam. This project brought thousands of people to the desert with money to be spent and a need to be entertained after a long week of very difficult manual labor. With money to be made, organized crime found a breeding ground in Las Vegas to take advantage of those who would be lured to the environment that legalized gambling as well as prostitution. That being said, Las Vegas was the end to some very powerful crime families who found out quickly that their ill-gotten gains could not be taken with them to the grave.
It's like a desert out here.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning here in Vegas. It's our last day before we leave. 112 degrees out here.
Desert out here.
There's one thing that all deserts have in common, and that is plenty of unobstructed sunshine. Such a resource should be tapped, and that is exactly what the city of Las Vegas did with their water treatment facility in a citywide effort to reduce the energy cost by $2.5 million annually with their photovoltaic site. The array you see here at the water treatment plant contains over 15,000 solar panels, producing enough electricity to power 20% of the water facility's power needs. That is enough energy to power around 300 average-sized homes. In April of 2013, the city of Las Vegas held a dedication ceremony unveiling their newly installed $19.7 million solar array. It is a good thing that the Hoover Dam is around to assist with the other 80% of the treatment center's energy needs. Hooking up to our trailer for the final time, we bid Las Vegas a farewell. It has been an enjoyable time here in the City of Lights, but to tell you the truth, I am ready to get back home where I once complained about average temperatures being in the high 80s and low 90s. We have seen a lot and experienced a lot on this trip, on and off camera. We had the pleasure of watching my daughter's best friend dance in a national competition, which is what brought us this direction to begin with. We're looking forward to coming back in the future and spending more time hiking, exploring, and camping in the Grand Canyon. and possibly spending a night or two in Flagstaff.
It's about 3:30 and the temperatures have really skyrocketed today. And right now I'm at the hottest point I've ever been outside being in a sauna. So yeah, it's pretty hot today. It's 116 degrees right now. 116 degrees. Feels like a desert out here.
But our trip is not quite over. We'll be making just one more stop on the way home as we pull off the road outside of Winslow, Arizona to see one of the Earth's largest and most pristine meteor craters.
Current thinking is about 50,000 years ago, a meteorite crashed into the site. We're not really sure the direction, but if we could go back in time, what we would see is a pinpoint of light coming at us. As it came closer, it would have gone very bright. I'm sure it would have been beautiful, but we never would have lived to tell about it because we sat inside here with that tremendous force of 20 million tons of TNT, making our crater in just 10 seconds. When it hit, it blew the top off, scattering pieces everywhere, like what we have on display in the museum. Walls up, the crater just obliterated. Some vaporized, some melted, some smashed into small little pieces. Really not much left there in the crater in one piece. Before that, though, it was at 150 feet, weighed several 100,000 tons, and was traveling at a speed of 26,000 miles per hour. To get an idea how fast that is, if you got on a plane in New York, you'd arrive in LA in 5 minutes. Who would like to take that plane ride?
Our guide continued to provide us with the history and geology of this meteor impact crater. There is no doubt that early Native Americans were aware of this location. However, it wasn't until 1871 that an Army scout recorded his observations of the site located in this desolate area in what was later to become Arizona in February of 1912. Early speculation was that the crater was the result of volcanic activity. However, in 1902, a gentleman by the name of Daniel Barringer was convinced that the crater was the result of a meteor or small asteroid. He began mining to search for the meteor in hope of gaining riches by melting the iron and selling it to the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. Mining efforts continued by Barringer through 1929 with no avail. However, he remained convinced to his death that the crater was indeed the result of a meteor striking the Earth, even though skeptics remained unconvinced. The crater was passed down to his family and was named the Barringer Crater in his honor. In the late 1950s and 60s, a geologist by the name of Eugene Shoemaker proved that the site was indeed the result of a meteor, and came to the conclusion that the meteor, as well as many minerals at the location, simply evaporated in the extreme heat that was a result of the impact. This would have killed everything within a 50-mile radius. The location was later visited by NASA as a training site to test equipment during the Apollo missions prior to going to the moon. This is only one of 200 known impact craters on our planet, and is by no means the largest. However, it is the most preserved due to the arid environment of the desert. Scientists believe that the Chicxulub crater in the Yucatan Peninsula created an Earth-covering dust cloud along with evaporated ocean water, causing a massive cooling of our planet, resulting in the last ice age and the end of the dinosaurs through mass extinction.
So we're at the meteor crater impact area and just finished looking, at least I just finished looking. My wife and daughter were finished long before I was, and they've been waiting in the car. And they tolerate my nerdy science stuff from time to time, and I asked them if they would make me a sandwich. So I got back and they were so nice to make me this awesome sandwich. And they tried to make me a crater in the middle of my sandwich. They're so thoughtful, brings a tear to my eye. So nice, so loved. You're willing to tolerate me.